Hey, welcome to another video from SkinnyMedic. This is an after-action medical report video, not trauma this time. This is an overdose. 2 people overdosed in a car. I'm going to tell you how I would handle this situation. This after-action medical report is brought to you by Sonoran Desert Institute. If you're looking for a career change or you just want to learn more about the items behind me, go check them out, sti.edu. I appreciate them sponsoring these after-action videos. Let's take a look at the video real quick. Like I said, it's 2 people overdose, probably on opiate, heroin, something like that, a downer, because they're unconscious, doesn't like their breathing. So watch the video, nothing super graphic, and then let's talk about how I would handle it.
I done told them they got needles on their legs. Yeah, they got needles on. Is they alive?
Yeah. Pop the lock. Hey!
She got a cigarette burning in her hand, y'all. Put the car in gear.
Put the car in.
Put it in park. Put it in park.
Hey, they said don't touch him. They said don't touch him.
The fuck?
Damn.
Somebody got that shit around this bitch. I got that shit.
Go back.
I think the girl.
Wake up. That nigga ain't getting out.
Wake up.
Wake up. Wake up, boy. Put that water. Put that water. Put that water. Put the water in that foot.
Put the water.
There she goes. There she goes. There she goes.
Come on.
Yeah, boy. Damn.
Take the needle out of my mouth. Pull the syringe out of that leg.
Come on.
I ain't taking that shit out of that leg.
Don't take that shit.
Small boy got the ball.
Y'all don't know that they got it. Yeah, she come.
What do you guys think about that scenario? What would you do if you're by yourself and have limited supplies? That's kind of the angle I'm going at. Maybe you do have some help there, but they're not medically trained. Let's do that. So the first thing is scene safety BSI. Okay, you got to make the scene safe. I don't like being inside of a car like that, so let's make sure that it's in park. Make sure the car is in park. Make sure it's turned off, and I'm going to check them for weapons as I'm assessing their ABCs, airway, breathing, circulation. I'm going to double check them for weapons because a little shady. So let's check them for weapons to make sure that we can make the scene as safe as possible for us. So I would go ahead and remove the needle from her leg. It's not going to hurt you. You're not going to get poked with it. Just be super careful, obviously. And then she has a cigarette in her hand, so go ahead and remove the cigarette as well. The scene is super chaotic here because you have a lot of bystanders, even the one dude like slapping the driver in the face.
Go back. Wake up.
Which kind of cracks me up a little bit. So let's pull them out of the car. Let's make it a little bit easier for you to work on. So my idea would be to move them out of the car and lay them side by side. They can be in the front of the car, wherever, out of traffic, I don't really care. But let's move them and lay them side by side. Another simple procedure that we could perform on both of these once we get them out of the vehicle is a head tilt chin lift. Don't have to worry about a jaw thrust here, that's for trauma patients, but a head tilt chin lift, pop, open up the airway, at least that gives them a clear airway, and then move to an airway adjunct. If I had all my equipment in my truck, I do have airway adjuncts too, so I don't really necessarily like an OPA for this. This OPA goes into the mouth because of the gag reflex issue, and they're kind of semi-conscious here, so I don't know that I would necessarily put an OPA in their mouth, especially if I had 2 victims and I'm by myself. I would opt for an MPA. Goes into the nose, doesn't touch the gag reflex typically, so I can do that. I would put an MPA in their nose to help with their airway. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I have a bag valve mask, BVM. If that's the case, then I'm going to check for a pulse, which I would assume they still have a pulse because they're moving around just a little bit. They're just not breathing adequately. They look super pale, so let's bag them. So if I lay them side by side, I'm going to bag each of them about every 6 to 8 seconds. So it gives me time to bag this guy, bag her, boom, rotate back and forth. If they're side by side, I'm not running around like crazy. I'm not trying to reach through the car, so I can lay them side by side, bag them. I am not doing mouth to mouth. If I don't have a bag valve mask, then they're out of luck. Like I said, I'm not doing mouth to mouth. So I would honestly lay them in the recovery position. On their side, arm tucked in, leg kicked out like a kickstand, lay them on the side. I can't do anything for them, okay? I can't breathe for them because I'm not doing mouth to mouth. That's gross. So let's do that. The other part of this I thought about too is, say, the American Heart Association. We teach the general public that they don't check for a pulse anymore. It can be difficult to feel a pulse, so we don't teach that anymore for general public. We teach, hey, you okay? Person doesn't respond, look at their chest. Do you see chest rise and fall? If the answer to that is no, you start chest compressions. If they tell you to get off their chest, then you get off their chest. But if you don't get them to respond by, hey, you okay? You don't see any chest rise and fall on their chest, you start chest compressions. 110 beats a minute, hard and fast, rock to town. So with these two, if I pull them out of the car and I don't see chest rise and fall and I can't get them to respond by shaking them, like, hey, you okay? Start CPR, okay? You're gonna get some oxygenation because you're pushing on the chest, pushing on the lungs. You get some oxygenation there. So you're gonna do less damage by starting CPR than if you didn't do it, things like that. So probably CPR is my last resort, but if I looked at them, if I didn't have a bag valve mask and I put them in the recovery position, but then I couldn't get them to respond and they're not breathing, then start CPR. You got two people like that, I'm gonna get some bystanders to help me do CPR. I'm gonna walk them through real quick, a down and dirty class on CPR, and they're gonna help me. And we're gonna wait on first responders to get there. So, a little bit different style video. Hope this video helps. You never know when you'll be the first responder. Remember, you need the right gear and the right training.